So who am I? I am a sophomore. What? I'm a sophomore in Niskayuna High School, which is in upstate New York, near Albany. And I've participated in many math competitions like AMC, Math Counts, Nismal, HMMT, Math Olympia, Math Club. And then I've also been to Math Prize for Girls and USA MTS. And I'm also a Math Counts coach at my former middle school. How did I get here? I did Math Counts. I did Math Counts 6th grade to 8th grade. And it was my parents who forced me to start because they said I had potential and stuff. And that everyone in my family does math. So, of course I have to do math too, because how else? And so my friend told me that would be social suicide, but I did it anyway, obviously. And I was kind of embarrassed about it though. So like when in 7th grade I was the top something or other, I was really, really happy that they kind of messed up my last name. And so no one really knew who it was. Yeah. And so then in high school, I'm in Albany Area Math Circle, AAMC. And at first, when I first came in, first day, there were only a couple of girls there. And it was kind of embarrassing and annoying. But then more joined later.
They're almost up to 50%.
Yeah. And so now there are a lot. And that's an opportunity to discuss math with more people. And also to become friends with different people that I've never met otherwise because they go to different schools and stuff. So Math Counts and Math Circle for me second. So I was a student in Math Counts and I joined when I was in 6th grade, and the problem was that I was the only 6th grader, which was kind of intimidating because I was the captain of the B team and I had to be in charge of the 7th. I had to like make the 7th and 8th graders listen to me, and they're all kind of big and scary. That wasn't a fun experience. But then in 7th and 8th grade, my friends joined, and so like I barely knew them before, but then I became better friends with them, and it got better and stuff. And so in Math Counts, and that's like the team, 8th grade. And so the good thing about Math Counts is that we do a lot of different problems and stuff, and then we discuss them, which is good because like there are different problems and there's a variety, but there are tricks to solve them, which makes it. And so if you discuss them, then you kind of learn what the tricks are and you can use them again and again. But some of the kids were kind of rude to the coach, especially when it was the student coach, and that was really kind of annoying. Okay, so now I'm a coach for Math Counts, and I like explaining the problems because it makes me feel like I've accomplished something or whatever. And like, that's kind of a good way to learn this. And so yeah, that's my team. But it isn't really considered a cool thing to do, so the kids kind of, I don't know if they actually hate it, but they seem to. Maybe they're just pretending, and like they're just doing it because their parents forced them. And so it's kind of, that might be what makes them rude to the coach, which is a kind of deja vu, I guess, because they're not very nice sometimes. And sometimes they're good, but not always. Yeah. And so I'm also part of AAMC now. And so at first there were very few people there, but then more came. So Dr. Mary O'Keefe.
I did not hear you say that.
Organized everything and got people to come. She's a great person and great coach and stuff. And yeah. So good thing, I like how we do a lot of stuff and we go to all these different contests and we do everything. It's just, and there are plenty of people to discuss stuff with now, which is good because that's kind of, we can collaborate and learn how to do it better. Which is why it's good that we first do the problems alone to learn what we can do ourselves personally. And then we collaborate because then we have more ideas. And like, if someone did something wrong, but they're almost on the right track, then if someone else can look at it and see where the problem is and fix it. The problem is that it's kind of 6 to 9 p.m. on Friday nights. And so that's not a very, I don't find it a very convenient time. Like I find the Friday night thing now, I guess, except for that might kind of scare away people who might want to join and don't want to spend their Friday nights doing it. So that's kind of, but it's 3 hours long, and I can't concentrate for 3 hours at like I understand that 3 hours isn't a lot, but after about second 2.5 hours, I completely don't want to do much. I do it, but yeah. So it's good that people help each other and stuff, because otherwise I could just do stuff whenever I felt like in my own in a little corner somewhere or another, wherever I felt like it needed it. But then I would be able to discuss it with anyone or anything like that, and that would just be really boring and not really effective, because then you wouldn't know the best way to do it. And so, like when we work in teams, we can explain stuff to others. Like if we just learned something in math class and the other people haven't, because you're just older than them or something. There are younger people and there are older people. Then you can explain it and you don't call them stupid or anything like that, because that's just mean. But you can explain like trigonometry or something like that, or logarithms, if that's irrelevant. And so then we can just explain how we solve the problem itself, because to get the right solution, figure out why. And also just because the best way to learn is to teach someone else. And so, yeah, I've also become friends with many people from there. So, then math competitions from a girl's perspective, yes, yeah, what's wrong with this picture?
Somebody wrote on it.
Okay. So that's the national finalists for a computer science competition, and computer science is in the math department, sort of, ish. And the one girl, because that was what there was my sister. And so she was kind of all alone, and it was difficult for her, but she eventually overcame it. And that's the same story for some other people too, because if they're just spread out in different places and stuff, they can't do it. So it's good that now there are like there are things to promote girls being involved in math things, such as Math Prize for Girls, which I participated in last year, and it was a lot of fun and stuff, and we got to meet everyone, and then we did the prom the next day. And so that's from last year. And so it makes it more fun and less intimidating, because it shows that there are other girls who like math and stuff, and that promotes girls to participate more. So yeah, that's awesome. And they've helped me get better results in different math competitions. And so it's not really social suicide either, because I have found friends in math club circles and stuff like that, and so it's not. And then it's difficult to do one with only a couple of girls, but you can do it. And the more girls there are, the better it is, and stuff in general.
Are there any questions? I should have asked that. Sure.
So think about before you could drive yourself. If you could have chosen an ideal time to hold Math Circle, when would you have held? So when your parents had to drive you there.
They do now.
Oh, they still do? Okay, great.
I don't really know, but like maybe Friday nights are best time, because on weekdays, well, there's the driving issue too. I have homework. I don't know about everyone else, but I do have to do homework and stuff, and I don't really have time for anything else, really. And weekends, I have things to do too. So Fridays are, I guess, the most convenient time. But maybe just, I don't know, 3 hours isn't really much for a week, but I can't concentrate for that long in a row and do math.
You said the more girls, the easier it is. Do you think we should construct more situations where girls work alone on mathematics without boys?
I don't know, like some maybe, like Math Prize for Girls, but if there are too many, then it just becomes segregated, and
Too many what?
too many like separate things, then it just becomes, that's not good either. There needs to be a nice little balance type thing.
You mentioned several several social issues about starting this at 6th grade. Like your parents made you and social suicide, all these things. Do you think there are other times in your life before or after where it's easier to bring a new person into that world?
I don't know, like, I don't know about elementary school because we don't really have anything for elementary schoolers. So, and I don't really remember that all that well enough to be able to say that. In 6th grade it might be difficult a little bit because you're just starting middle school, and that's a pretty big change from elementary school. But I don't know, like, and starting in high school is difficult too because then you feel like dumb compared to everyone else you're going to be, and that's not encouraging at all. So, yeah.
Are the girls who attend the math circle all also interested in competitions, or are there some differences in what kinds of things girls versus boys are more likely to be interested in?
Like for the competitions, I think both go, so I have no idea other than that.
I can maybe answer that a
Do
little.
you think there are girls maybe who don't come to math circle because they aren't interested in competitions? Maybe would be a better question.
Like, I don't think so because you don't have to go to the competitions, and we only really go to mostly 2 a year. Like there are some other little ones along the way, but so I don't, and you don't have to go. No one's forcing you on or anything. So like you have to go, or else I will do something bad to you. So it's kind of your choice, I guess. So.
Can I answer that a little bit? So I really emphasize there are many ways to measure success, and that our math circle is open to everybody, and if you just want to come and never go to a competition, I'm actually really thrilled. We actually have one person who does that, does not like competitions, but loves coming to our meetings, and he happens to be male.
Okay, so 3 hours is a long time. So do you think a snack break would help to make it easier?
Oh, we have a break, so where we have like pizza and stuff at around 7. But a lot of people go and continue doing math during that time anyway. Like they get their stuff and then they come back and then they sit down and then they start doing math. So everyone who's not starts to feel like I'm a lazy bum or something if I'm not doing it and just yeah. So I mean we do have those.
You think it's more likely or easier for girls to join a math circle or math team if the teacher is a woman?
I don't know if they really know who it is beforehand, like, and because that would work, unless you really get to know the person and stuff like that, but at that point it would be really awkward not to go join. So. Most people who start continue. I mean, they might not do it very often and just come and then not come for another couple months and then come again. But I don't know that many who come and many times and then just stop coming. So.
Well, let's thank